running it. What episode is this?
This is episode
166 and 167.
166.
Oh, sheesh.
Like the number of the beast.
Yeah. Well, is 166 the number of the beast?
Well, some people believe it was 616.
It's Route 66.
Oh, yeah.
That's
the highway to hell.
That's where Lightning McQueen got lost.
It's the highway to hell.
Oh, you want to hear a funny story? When I was a kid, when I was like little, my dad's always been so into like classic rock. He loved AC/DC. He would one time he was playing that in the car real loud, and he was just singing it at the top of his lungs. Highway to hell. I was crying in the back seat because I was like, my dad's going to hell.
Oh God.
I was probably 5, but I was like, no.
My dad be playing Van Halen, and it's like Running with the Devil.
Yeah.
With the devil.
Well, that's my dad's like all-time favorite band.
Van Halen?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I always knew there was something about him. Your dad, I mean.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Because of the Van Halen thing.
Yeah, they're bonded over their love of Van Halen.
Oh, yeah.
As are we.
Well, dude, remember the first time I ever came to your house, I was like, can you play Eruption on guitar?
And that's what got me to play guitar. I've told that story before.
Yeah, but it's still cool. Anyway, so speaking of the highway of hell, we wanted to do a series on the beginning and the end. Genesis and Revelations.
Yes.
Before we really get into that, I like to take these moments where we like reflect on those days of like reading these books. You know, it's like, it's sort of nostalgic in a way. Like, I remember being a kid and going to church, and the thing that I would do the most was either read the book of Revelations or read the book of Genesis. Okay.
Is that some kind of, did you do that, Alex? I feel like that's some kind of phenomenon.
I don't think I really ever read the Bible.
Okay.
Outside of like religious class in Catholic school.
In all seriousness, like, not joking here, to my understanding, that's not really like a thing in Catholicism.
Just like picking it up and reading it?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I read the hell out of that hymn book because we had to sing probably 4 songs every mass. And
was it a good read?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I read the songs and I sang the verses because you had to.
Weren't you one of the boys?
The Backstreet Boys? No.
The altar boys?
No, actually, I did not go to my training for that.
Why not, dude?
Because my parents didn't make me, probably.
You could have got an in.
Yeah, dude. You could have been in a position of power.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know a lot about altar boys.
That is the opposite of a position of power. You are in a position of being
you gotta
dominated.
Stand there for like however long the priest decides and hold the gospel in front of him.
Yeah.
Well, you pay your dues and you rise through the ranks.
I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, man.
You're like a little servant boy.
Look at any pyramid power structure.
Right.
You start on the bottom and then you're...
That's not how that works at all. Not even a little bit.
Well, you mean a reverse funnel system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I'm following you.
Just saying, man. Opportunity missed. But I was always reading the book of Revelations and the book of Genesis.
Same.
And if I wasn't doing that in the rare times that, and I'm talking like when I was young, you know, if I wasn't doing that, I was probably playing like Pokemon or Metroid.
Oh.
But then when I got busted, I'd be, reading the book of Revelations. My mom would be like, put that away.
Yeah.
Or my grandma or whatever. Yeah. So.
You just hide the Game Boy inside the Bible.
Yeah, dude, especially when it was the SP. And like, I don't think I ever actually did that. That's ingenious. I would have never figured that out as a kid. But, yeah, very nostalgic. So let's start with Revelations. It's natural that we would start with the beginning.
You said Revelations.
Did I?
You did.
I'm all crossed up.
We all know the
Genesis.
beginning is Revelation. Yeah, Genesis. Genesis, as other people would pronounce it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense to me.
I don't know who. I don't know who would pronounce it like that, but somebody out there pronounces it Genesis. And I'm just saying you're valid, and I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, if you think about it, it just rolls right off the tongue. Genesis.
And Alex is so already, we're 4 minutes in, and Alex is done.
It makes me envision, like, running off into the sunset. And I look over, and I'm like, I love you, Genesis.
And she looks at you and says, it's only the beginning.
Oh!
Yeah, dude. I could see it. I could see the whole scenario play out right down to the end.
That was really beautiful, which is Revelation.
Yeah.
or revelation.
Yeah, Revelation.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
He's like, dude, I never read this book. Please tell me what happens. Okay, so let's go through like what happens in the book of Genesis.
Yeah,
It's the
let's do
creation story. It's basically like it's believed to have been written by Moses, which now we know is probably not true. They think it was written somewhere around 500 or 600 years BC by like anonymous Jewish mystics. And it tells the story of like God creating the earth and the story of the
creating everything.
Yeah, creating everything, the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
And the fall of Adam and Eve and into, I don't want to say my interpretation yet, but the expulsion from the Garden of Eden, from paradise. So,
I got a question right off the bat as an idiot. Did the Garden of Eden come after he made Earth? So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the garden is on Earth. Because I'm thinking from like the Norse mythology episode that we did, how like Eden's orchard is like a realm. It's not like on Earth. It was like a realm outside of Earth kind of thing. So I was like, is it kind of the same with the Garden of Eden? But
well, I mean, it might be.
yeah.
But according to the Bible, it's like basically God creates the earth in 6 days. Very interesting account there, parallels to other stories like, Hinduism per se, where they say that it's created through the word. And then on the seventh day he rested, right? And the story goes that Adam was created. They take the rib from Adam and then they create Eve. But this is sometime after like animals, like I think it was the birds of the sky and the sea creatures are created on like the fourth or fifth day or something like that. I don't know it exactly in my head because I'm going to focus on the esoteric version of it. And then Adam comes around and he's just kind of chilling by himself. He's lonely and God's like, let me make him a companion.
Let me give him a chick.
And then he comes up with Eve. He makes her out of his rib and they're together. And then they obviously commit their crime. They're expelled from the Garden of Eden. So
that's the first 3 chapters,
Yeah.
by the way. That's all in the first 3 chapters. It's the first chapter is the creation. The second chapter is God creating Adam, giving him the garden, except the tree of good and evil. The tree of good and evil is the one that he was like, God was like, you can't eat from that one though.
yeah, don't eat it.
Do not eat that apple. And then evil's created. And then chapter 3 is when the snake arrives.
Yeah.
The serpent, if you will.
The serpent.
And none of the other animals talk.
Yeah.
Just the snake.
You sound bitter about that.
Well, I mean, it's just like none of the other animals can talk, and then one talks to you, and you're like, yeah, I'll listen to you.
Yeah, I would.
I
would.
I would too. Especially if there was like a really shiny apple and you wanted it so bad. And then that snake starts talking to you and is like, you can eat it. I'd be like, for real?
I bet it's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
And according to this version, the snake had like feet and he was walking around, man. He wasn't even
Wait,
crawling.
What?
Remember, that's the punishment to the serpent is he removes his legs and his feet and he can't speak anymore and he like has to crawl
Oh,
around.
so we're talking lizard.
Komodo dragon.
Well, it says serpent.
it does.
It says
Yeah,
serpent.
lizard.
It's like a dragon.
I mean,
Dragon episode. Show me dragon.
I mean, technically, it could be said to be a dragon, like the great dragon in Revelation.
Yeah. Whoa. Is that foreshadowing?
It might be.
Okay, cool. What happened after that? Eve's son. Oh, right. Eve's son. So they had a bunch of babies after they ate. Because the apple is it's thought to be an allegory for sex. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the tree. The whole thing.
Okay. Gotcha. So then they had a bunch of babies. And Eve's sons made offerings to the Lord. This is chapter 4. Eve's sons made offerings to the Lord. Only Abel's was acceptable. So Cain killed him. His brother, Cain. Damn, that's chapter 4 of Genesis?
Mm-hmm.
That's like probably friggin' a bunch of years later.
When Cain kills his brother and then God like puts a mark on his head and it's like this curse mark. And he says that basically you're cursed to roam through this land with like giants and all these horrific beasts. You can't touch them. and it's something like anything that you do will be wrought on you sevenfold. It will be avenged sevenfold.
Oh,
That's where avenged sevenfold comes from.
damn, that's crazy.
Is there? Sorry to interrupt you. Is there a tenfold reference in the Bible? As like, I will reward you tenfold.
Oh yeah, Job.
Job.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure it's Job.
Book of Job.
Because there was this boat
I think.
and this yacht, and the name of the yacht was tenfold, and I've always liked that because I was pretty sure it was a
That's
Bible reference.
That's a cool name for a boat.
Tenfold?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. There's some dumb names for boats out there.
Oh, yeah.
How often do you see terrible names for boats in your line of work?
A lot every day. I take pictures of the good. I've seen some cool names.
Really?
Don't put me on the spot.
That's
but
okay.
I've seen some cool names. I've
okay.
seen some names. I'm just like, they fall into categories.
Okay.
There's like hardcore names, like that's intimidating. Like
Oh,
there's
like badass.
There's a fishing boat called Gladiator. Like that's just sick. And then there's like the punny stuff. Like CEO. It would be SEA. like right or I don't want to put anybody on blast out here, but
blast them.
Then there's just like the ones that are like heartfelt, and like they name them after a pet or
Genesis
or their daughter,
their beautiful bride.
like a lot of daughter names, that kind of thing. And then there's just ones that are just like, what in the world were you thinking?
SS Garfield.
SS Garfield.
Like that would be
be
funny. Like
yeah.
that's good. In my book, that's good. Like
That'd be mine.
I get it, haha, right? But I don't know, some bad ones.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's like it's almost. I don't know if I should say this because people might crucify me, like you know who.
That's a different book of the Bible.
Yeah,
Like
but
the Romans?
it's all in there, man. But I feel like it's almost like try hard to be like the gladiator.
I agree.
You know,
I
like
agree.
come on, bro.
I wasn't-
Okay, but here's how I think about it, right? Imagine you're sinking and you're putting in a mayday call.
That's true.
Mayday, this is CEO.
No, that's worse for sure.
Yeah.
But like mayday, gladiator going down. If you're like, I'm going to help that guy.
It's the SS plate of lasagna.
Realistically, if I had like a boat, I would name it after some video game character or something. The SS freaking Viva Pinata.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
I don't know.
SS Ape Escape.
There's
Yeah.
another fishing
game.
boat in Wrightsville. I think it's a cool name. It's just called Horse. Like
I kind of love that.
It's awesome. It's a beautiful boat and it's just horse.
It's not the horse.
It's just horse. Yeah,
I kind of love that.
it's sick.
I like that.
If you had one, it would be called Pig.
Pigsy.
Yeah, it'd be Pigsy or
Pigs,
Pig.
Yeah.
Or Hog.
I'm gonna name mine after my dog.
The
I have
SS
now.
Hog.
The boat that I retire on and travel the East Coast on. I'm gonna name it after my dog.
Damn, you're planning ahead.
We've already talked about it.
Wow. No, that'll be romantic, man. And we'll sail together. And we can take Nick with us and he can be our captain.
Whoa! I didn't say
Did you
anything.
say captor or captain?
Captain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you'll pilot the ship so that we can be freed for other activities.
That sounds good. Are you guys Adam and Eve in this situation?
Yeah.
We're gonna start a new like.
It's like Titanic.
Oh my
I'll
God.
be standing up on the front.
I shouldn't have told y'all.
on the SS Hog. Damn, dude.
Yeah, dude. The SS Forbidden Fruit.
Oh, I like that.
The SS Apple.
But then y'all's dinghy will be named Hog.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, man. Because God made the hogs in the Book of Genesis.
I remembered one. Y'all tell me if you like this one or not. The boat was called Someday Came.
Oh, that's
Like everybody's like, I'll get one someday. And the boat's name was Someday Came.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
it's the second word that throws me off a little bit.
You're like, I
there.
love it, but what do you guys think? Actually, no, I agree. Like,
No, I don't. I didn't express my opinion. I don't
didn't?
think it's really that
I could have sworn
good
you
of a
did,
name.
man.
I could have sworn you did too.
So what happens next?
Oh, what happens next? Okay, chapter 5 is just describing Adam's line, his like lineage.
Right.
It's Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, blah, 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 blah. It just goes into all of his sons and stuff. Then chapter 6, humankind corrupted the earth with evil. Freaking already?
Yeah.
God, we suck.
Like Noah, like the story of Noah, right?
Yeah.
We should be rounding
God
about
decided to destroy them.
Hate me because I have free will, bro.
Dude, Noah had a boat.
He did.
Do you have a name for
What
the
do you
boat?
name
Or
it?
is it just...
Twofer?
Why would it...
Because 2 of every animal.
It's the ark,
that.
man.
It's just called the Ark.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
You know what's funny? My grandma's 90 years old. And, travel is getting to be like, if you want to go somewhere, let's go somewhere. And she told me all these years, I've never been to the Grand Canyon. You want to go? I was like, I'll go with you. And now her last, like, final destination she wants to see, she wants to go to Kentucky to see the Ark.
Kentucky to see the Ark?
It's like a
model thing? Is it like life size? Like,
yeah.
What?
They built a life-size
Is it
ark
like the proportions and everything? Like,
I'm not sure, but
that's crazy.
It's like a display. But I was like, you buy me a ticket, I'll go with you.
How much boat do you need to put every animal on? I'm looking.
It's a big boat, man.
I mean, it would have to be a freaking huge boat.
Big, dude.
Anyway, chapter 7, Noah and his family go into the ark with 2 of each creature. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and the earth was covered in water. Flooded it all. Chapter 8, the flood abated. Noah sent out a raven and 2 doves.
Ooh.
He sent out ravens?
I never knew he sent out a
440 foot long, according to Google.
Interesting.
Are you saying it would have to be that big to hold 2?
The structure of the ark and the chronology of the flood. The ark has to be 300 cubits by 50 cubits by 30 cubits, which approximately means 440 feet in length. So
That's a big freaking boat.
I'm going to look up what the icon of the seas is. That's the
big-
biggest boat in existence right now, I think.
I thought it was Titanic.
That doesn't exist right now. It doesn't exist.
It's supposed to be the biggest ship that ever sailed.
But if you got a little Xbox remote, you can go down and see it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. That is true.
So they got the boat. He sent out the ravens. He sent the doves.
The flood abated. This is chapter 8. The flood abated. Noah sent out a raven and 2 doves. When the earth was dry, God called them all out of the ark. Noah built an altar. Cool. So freaking Noah and his people and all the animals survived. Everybody else freaking died. So they got to repopulate the earth again. Just Noah and his chick.
You know who they are, right?
Who?
This isn't very well known, but from what I read as an adult and understood this a little differently, his daughters got him drunk and seduced him.
No. Whoa. What? No.
Unless I just made it up.
Okay, wait.
Wait, I was looking at, what did you just say? Who?
He said Noah's daughters seduced him to repopulate the earth.
Well, they're on a mission from God.
I need you to verify that, Alex.
Okay.
Can you
I also
verify that?
wanted you to know that the longest ship that exists right now is the Seawise Giant, and it's 1,500 feet long.
Oh my God.
The icon of the seas is like 1,100 and change, which is a cruise ship. Hang on. Did Noah
Noah repopulate Earth with his daughters?
I got to look it up.
That's pretty wild.
It was
But
in the
also-
movie.
But also, look, you got to think about it. I was actually going to say this, like, freaking Adam and Eve, like, their kids had to, you know what I'm saying? There was definitely some Targaryen type shit going on.
I mean, yeah, there was like 2 people.
Right.
So they had to figure something
But
out.
then I never really put it together that happened twice.
Are you getting this confused with Lot?
I might be.
This is saying, yeah, I'm looking it up. It's saying,
But that's not
Lot.
making me feel better.
Okay, well, I need to know how Noah repopulated the Earth.
I'm on it.
I'm assuming his wife was with him, and then that's crazy. I always think about Adam and Eve. Oh, their children had to make babies together. That's creepy. It happened twice in Genesis. I never considered that.
Right.
When the flood happened, Noah had to do it too. So anyway, then almost said episode 9.
Well, in the Bible, it doesn't say.
Really?
And God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
Multiply with who?
God does not go into detail.
Okay, all right. They were. I guess he just laid a bunch of eggs. Then they just started laying eggs or something. Okay, chapter 9. God blessed Noah and set the rainbow as a sign that he would never flood the earth again.
His sons had wives.
Where did that come from?
I must have gotten that confused with another story, because there is a story where they get him drunk. They find him drunk and he's laying naked, but I don't think he repopulated with his daughters.
Well, I think that's good. I think that's ultimately a win.
Absolutely, dude.
That didn't happen.
It says, Noah began to be a man of the soil, and he planted a vineyard. He drank of the wine and became drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. And Ham, a pig, Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. Then Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and walked backward and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned backward, and they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah woke from his wine and knew what his youngest son had done to him, he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall be to his brothers. He also said, Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. Then he lived for another 350 years,
God,
and peaced out. But yeah, I must have gotten confused with the population part. So my bad.
Bro, his sons wouldn't even look at him naked. They turn their heads around.
Yeah, I somehow got that the opposite.
And then his daughters are just like, ooh, Dad. Okay, no, let's not.
I swear I read that the other day, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But, you know.
That is what you just were talking about was chapter 9 going into 10. Or actually, Noah got drunk and cursed Ham's son Canaan. That's in chapter 9. Chapter 10, Japheth. How do I?
I don't know. Japheth.
I'm gonna go with that. Japheth's line lived in the coastlands. Ham's included Nimrod and the Canaanites. You were just saying. Mm-hmm. Shem's lived in the east. These formed the nations. And then chapter 11, it starts getting cray-cray. They began, what, Alex?
As if it wasn't.
I mean, yeah, it's already, yeah, you're right.
It just couldn't hold it in.
We're 10 chapters in, and like the earth's been flooded. There's a snake with feet. There's a bunch of weird stuff going on. Chapter 11, they start building the great tower.
Ooh.
But the Lord confused their language. We're talking about the Tower of God.
Right.
Tower of
Babel.
Not Tower of God. That's an anime. Shem's line included Abram, who married Sarai.
That's Abraham.
It is?
Yeah.
Why is it spelled Abram?
Because it's different when he basically leaves Babylon and goes to Israel and like forms his covenant with God.
Hold up. So this dude had a son named Abram and a son named Ham. And then he just
Abraham.
Wait, did Abram eat Ham and he absorbed his power or something?
I don't know, man.
That's how he became Abraham.
I don't think that's how it goes. I think there's probably a little story in there that tells us how that happens, but I'd be shocked if it was cannibalism.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to know something funny that tracks on those lines?
What?
My grandmother on my dad's side, so my dad's mom's maiden name was Camp.
Oh, right.
My dad's middle name is Camp.
Uh-huh.
His mom's name was Ann, so her name was Camp Ann, or Ann Camp, right? Mm-hmm. And then he marries my mom, and my mom's maiden name is Campana.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So now that's my middle name.
So somebody ate somebody.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was picking that up.
I mean, yeah. If the shoe fits,
that's
man.
How
if in your world it's cannibalism.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Which we do not condone.
No, we do not.
No, we do condemn it.
We
don't condone it.
How does this happen every time? Condemn.
It's tricky.
Okay, you're right. It's tricky to rock. All right, chapter 12. God told Abram, "Go, I will make you a great nation. You will be a blessing." And in Egypt, Abram lied about Sarai, and Pharaoh was cursed.
Damn.
Trifling, dude.
You know what's a fun fact? In the book of Genesis, the word Elohim is said 33 times.
No way. That's nutty. I don't even ever remember reading the word Elohim from the Bible.
Well, of course, because you were reading the King James Version and it just said the word God. But when it was written, like thousands of years ago, it said Elohim.
Does it never say Elohim once in the King James Version?
I'm not sure if it does. I mean, it's been a long time since I was sitting around reading King James Bibles, you know?
Yeah.
But Elohim was like the original It's either Hebrew or Aramaic. Like that was their word for God.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Elohim is a plural
Yes.
word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is like thought. Is it thought to reference like God and his council of
Depends on
disciples?
your point of view. If you ask some religious scholars, like, what I was learning in college, they would say, well, it's because if you think about it like this, back in the days of kings and queens, when you addressed royals, they had a different way to say it. So they would say, like it's an honorific. They would say that the plural is like because it's God, it's royal. But then if you look at the esoteric view, it's like, come on, dude, it's male and female. It's plural. It's multitudes.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
So people like come up with this idea to try to justify it being this one Father God.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that's cool. Okay, chapter 13. Abram journeyed with his nephew Lot. There we go. Lot. Their servants argued, so Lot went to Sodom, Abram to Canaan. The Lord promised Abram the land. Chapter 14. The kings went to war and took Lot captive. Abram rescued Lot. Melchizedek blessed Abram, and Abram gave him 1/10 of everything he owned.
interesting.
Who's Melchizedek?
So Melchizedek is it's a very interesting figure in the esoteric, studies or whatever you want to call it.
Cycles.
Yeah, the wisdom traditions, you could say. Melchizedek is considered to be like a grand priest of an initiatory society, and like there's even scriptures in the New Testament that say that Jesus. I'm gonna find it because I don't want to misquote it like I did the Noah story. I want to actually read it, but there is a story where Jesus is being crowned as a high priest, like the order of Melchizedek.
The order of Melchizedek.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're thinking this is like a priest guy.
Yes.
He has a name that sounds like a vampire.
Yeah, but it actually means something along the lines of Jupiter. Like Zedek was like a ancient name to say Jupiter.
Whoa. An ancient, like a Hebrew thing? Or
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Hebrews 7:13-17. Jesus is considered a priest in the order of Melchizedek.
Whoa.
So the point there is there was, realistically, if we're looking at the actual historical roots of the Bible, there was a few hundred years there between these texts. But if you think about it in terms of like the church biblical canon, we're talking that, they believed Genesis was written thousands and thousands of years before Christ.
Yeah.
But the idea here is that Melchizedek existed way before Jesus, and for bare minimum, 500 or so years, this was a name that carried significance that they passed on through their tradition as this, grand priest that they said, Jesus is like Melchizedek. He's like the priest.
So then it was like kind of like a title.
Yeah.
That was passed down.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Chapter 15. The Lord promised Abram an heir and many descendants. Abram believed. He was told that they would be enslaved, but that they would return. Okay, that's already wild. God's like, you're definitely going to have a bunch of sons and heirs, but they're going to be slaves for sure. But don't worry, they'll come back. As if that's like comforting.
Right.
Okay, 16. Sarai told Abram to have children with Hagar. Sammy Hagar, bro. We were just talking about Van Halen.
He'd be running with the devil.
Well, that was David Lee Roth.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. That's fine. Hagar conceived, then ran away. Don't keep it together, Alex. Hagar conceived, then ran away. That's wild. Like immediately? Okay. But an angel sent her back. Hagar's son was Ishmael.
Ooh. There's an interesting theory there, too.
Tell me it.
So let me get this straight. You just said that Ishmael was Sarah's son, who was Abraham's wife, but she couldn't conceive, right?
Right.
So it's Sarah's son, but not Abraham's.
Right.
So he's his bastard.
Yes.
Right? Eventually, spoiler, he's going to have a son when Sarah's like 90-something years old.
Wait. No. It's the the Ishmael's the son of Abram
Oh, with another woman.
and Hagar.
Right. I had it backwards.
Hagar's a woman.
I had it backwards.
Hagar's a
Right,
woman. I know
because-
you picture saying
I do
Hagar,
picture a man.
that beautiful blonde
Okay, so
hair.
I got it backwards. So Sarah couldn't have a baby, so he had a baby with another woman.
Yes.
It's his bastard, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually, spoiler, God comes to Sarah. He's like, hey, it's going to be a miracle. Even though you're 90-something years old, you're going to have a baby. And they do. And it's Isaac, right? So some traditions say that Ishmael, the bastard son of Abraham, is like the lineage of Islam,
Right. Yes.
where Isaac is, the lineage of Judaism.
Which
But
is so
that's
cool.
just something I always heard in church growing up, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow, that's really fascinating.
Yeah,
But
there's even like, when they do like the movie and TV show versions of the Bible stories, they always show that. Isn't in that story, isn't like the baby in the basket and it goes down the little stream and like whatever.
that's Moses.
Oh. Wait. So wasn't Moses supposed to be the
No.
Okay, well, I'm just wrong. That's okay.
Moses comes later.
Chapter 7.
I know what you're talking about, though. I've seen Baby in a Basket video.
That's Moses. The Prince of Egypt, man. That is a good movie.
Was that Disney?
I think it was.
That's a good one. I haven't seen it in forever, though. So what you just described was chapter 17. So we'll just skip over that one. Chapter 18. 3 visitors came and said that Sarah would have a son next year. Sodom was very evil. Abraham. Okay, so he's become Abraham now.
Yeah, he's transformed.
He transformed. Do you have any information for me about Abraham transforming?
Yeah, he's told to sacrifice his son, and he's like, okay, I guess I'll do it.
Oh, that's that story.
No, that's not why he gets the name. He gets the name, I think it's because he makes the covenant with God. He leaves to a new land, and it's like, all right, your name will be Abraham, and it's like...
Oh, you're right. Chapter 17, I just skipped it because you read most of it, or you quoted most of it, but chapter 17, God made a covenant with Abram and renamed him Abraham.
If you read like the actual story, Abram comes from the land of which is Babylon.
Uh-huh.
He was a Babylonian dude.
Damn.
And he's probably been exposed to all these other Babylonian deities, and he comes around and he's like, starts, the Judaic system.
Yeah.
Basically. But it's interesting. Like he was in Babylon.
Wow.
Just a little fun fact.
That's fun. God also renamed Sarai Sarah, promised them a son. The men were circumcised.
Yeah.
It
It's the
says.
covenant.
Right.
Right.
All right. So 3 visitors came, said that.
It's like immediately.
I thought that was like a sound effect that you played.
Yeah, that was pretty visceral.
Yeah, it was. Okay. Abraham pleaded with the Lord for the city. He prayed over the city of Sodom. Chapter 19, angels took Lot out of Sodom. The city was destroyed by fire, and Lot's wife was turned to salt. His daughters had children for him.
Which is like...
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is like, I knew I got a Genesis story confused somewhere with having children with his daughter.
Yeah.
But I was right about the Noah being drunk thing. I
Yes.
got him confused. But anyway, so that story with Lot, right? They go back and they're like, don't look back. Lot is like trying to take them out of, Sodom, and the angels are like, don't look back, or, you're going to regret it. And he looks back and they turn into a pillar of salt, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like Orpheus. When Orpheus goes into the underworld to save his wife, and Hades is like, you can take her out of the underworld, but if you look back, she's going to stay forever. And he's traveling to get out of the underworld, and then he looks back to see if she's still with him, and she's trapped there forever.
That's a crazy parallel. That is a really crazy parallel. I love that. Okay, chapter 20, in Gerar, Abraham said, Sarah is my sister. King Abimelech took her, but God warned him in a dream. He restored Sarah to Abraham. 21, as promised, Sarah had a son, Isaac. She had Hagar and Ishmael sent away, but God preserved them. Abraham and Abimelech made a treaty. Chapter 22, God told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. Here we go. As Abraham obeyed, an angel stopped him. The Lord provided a ram instead and blessed Abraham. So everybody knows that story. Everybody talks about it all the time.
Right.
Freaking God's like, kill your son. Abraham's like, all right. And
Yeah,
then
I'll
God's
do it.
God's like, I'm just kidding, dude. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, you're worthy.
You were seriously about to kill your son?
I'm just joking.
I'm joking.
Yeah. That's a great story, though.
It is. It is. It's about faith. It's
Yeah.
like, it's a powerful story about faith. It's crazy,
Yeah.
but
Oh, no. I definitely wouldn't do it.
you're like,
I wouldn't do it.
nah, I'm good, but thanks though. Chapter 23. Sarah died in Kiriath Arba. Abraham asked the Hittites for a burial site. He bought a cave from Ephron and buried Sarah there. R.I.P. Sarah.
I know, right? First of her name.
First, yeah. Literally, probably.
Literally.
We're talking about the Bible here. Genesis. Chapter 24. Abraham's servant went to Nahor to find a wife for Isaac. He met Rebekah by the well. She went back with him and married Isaac. Damn. We're moving on quick, huh?
That's a lot of drama.
It's crazy.
It is crazy,
This
man.
is straight up like a soap opera.
Yeah.
Freaking
First date at the well, then they're hitched.
Yeah.
Bruh. Chapter 25.
He's
Abraham.
got some game, bro.
He does. I mean, shit, dude. He's like one of the only guys on the planet.
Yeah. Well, they probably got a couple thousand or something at this point.
Yeah, probably. But he's like so super old. Abraham died and was buried with Sarah. Isaac and Rebekah had twins, Esau and Jacob. Wow, dude. How the hell are you going to do that to the one kid?
What, Esau?
You're gonna,
Well, I mean...
you're going to name one kid Jacob and then the other kid Seesaw? Esau?
Seesaw.
Like,
Is this Jacob's ladder?
that shit is
Yes.
crazy.
Jacob's ladder.
That kid hated his life from
What's
the
the
start.
kid? What's the kid that had all the jacket of many colors?
The jacket of many colors?
Yeah, the cloak of many colors.
That's Harry
Jeez.
Potter, dude.
You couldn't even get that out.
I don't know. It's Harry Potter, dude.
I think it's
that
it's one of
reference
the-
is lost on me.
Isn't it a parable in the New Testament? I don't know.
I'll look it
I'm
up.
not familiar with that story, to be honest.
Me
with you.
neither. Clearly, I'll look it up.
The kid with a jacket of many colors. That is kind of like Harry Potter.
Yeah, if you would read Harry Potter, you'd be familiar with it. Chapter 26. In Gerar, Isaac lied about Rebekah. He grew so rich that Abimelech sent him away. What the hater? What a hater.
I know, man. They're always like
it's
making him.
Hadar.
Sammy Hadar. Damn, dude. You hating him because he's up now? Like, what? That's whack.
It is, man.
That's a whack. That's not a real homie.
It's jealousy.
That's jealousy. Exactly. He dug wells. What's up with all these wells? He dug wells.
How
and-
do you think they got watered, dude?
oh, yeah, that's probably true. He dug wells, and at Beersheba, the Lord blessed him. What's Beersheba?
It's a maiden. It's a woman.
At Beersheba, the Lord blessed him?
Oh, I'm thinking
Spell
of
it.
Bathsheba.
Yeah, this is Beersheba.
Spell it for me.
Beer? Sheba.
Oh,
You know who Bathsheba is?
Huh?
You know who Bathsheba is?
Who?
Bathsheba was this naked maiden who was in her bathtub on the roof of her house.
Oh, yeah.
And King David sees her and he's like,
He's like,
damn.
chick.
And he finds out that her husband is a general in his army. So you know what he does?
What?
He sends him to fight
Oh,
on the
yeah.
front lines and die.
Yeah. That's right. I remember that story.
Just so he can get with her.
Yeah, he wants to get up in that bath.
Yeah, with Bathsheba.
That's what I'm saying. So I wonder if...
This is saying that Beersheba is the
Bro, it's Beersheba.
southernmost city in the territories settled by the Israelites.
Okay, cool. All right, 27. Rebekah and Jacob tricked Isaac into giving Jacob his blessing. Esau vowed revenge, so Rebekah told Jacob to go to her brother Laban. Dude, the drama. Oh, my God.
Should be
Bruh.
Jacob's ladder coming up.
At 28, Isaac sent Jacob to marry one of Laban's daughters. On the way, Jacob dreamed of a ladder reaching to heaven. and
Which is esoterically the path of initiation. This is something I want to get into because I'm pretty sure we're nearing the end of Genesis here.
we got like 20 more chapters, but
Oh,
that's okay.
sheesh. Well, we don't have to
We
hit
don't
them all.
no,
if
we
you
don't.
want.
We
Yeah.
don't.
But we did the Tower of Babel. We did Jacob's ladder. We did
The creation story.
we did the creation story. Yeah, because I'm going to focus heavily on the creation story. But what I wanted to talk about, the reason we discussed, like, let's talk about Genesis and Revelation. was the idea that some of these texts might have dual meanings, right?
Yes.
Some of them might have esoteric meanings.
We've already pointed out a couple.
Right. But if you look towards like the Rosicrucians or the Freemasons or theosophy, anthroposophy, a lot of these other secret traditions throughout the past have said that there are secret meanings behind these stories, right? Just for the listener's sake, for those who might not be aware. And it's believed that Jacob's ladder is an allegory about the ascension and the awakening of consciousness, right? Because he sees this vision, he sees this ladder. How many rungs are on the ladder?
It doesn't say in my notes.
Look it up.
Is it 33?
Is it?
Is it?
Can you confirm it?
That 33 wouldn't be very high.
I know.
Is it like 1133?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But my first thought when you mentioned that it's like an allegory was also like the chakras, the chakras, like climbing up
the Kundalini, the spine. You know, the Kundalini energy climbing the spine.
Yeah,
through ascension. I don't know that it actually says how many rungs there are on the ladder, but that would be interesting if there were like there's 33 rungs.
Oh, I thought you were asking like you knew the answer.
No, I don't actually.
Okay, gotcha. Does it say?
I'm seeing mostly 7, and then Wikipedia is saying that many details are added to the Genesis narrative. The ladder is made of 12 steps.
Either way, I mean 7 and 12 are mystical numbers in the Bible.
And then this is saying, and on each step there are 2 human forms.
7 and 12 are numbers we're going to find a lot in Revelation. Yep. Yeah. And in the book of Genesis, actually. There are different, I think it's like, this is something I learned in college, and Alex, you should look this up. But I think it's like the number 7 is literally encoded in the book of Genesis. Like the way that they wrote the actual alphabet, like, you know, the Aramaic, the letters, it was mathematical. They have all this gematria stuff, right? You know what gematria is? Mm-mm. It's like if you take the Greek alphabet or the Hebrew alphabet and you assign numeric values to the letters. Mm-hmm. So now words have a numeric value in these languages. Cool. Which is like something we'll talk about later with Emperor Nero being 666. Right? So it's like, for example, Elohim being in Genesis 33 times. Or at least in the creation story.
A lot of numerology.
Right. And in the creation story, when it's talking about, you know, the first 7 days, it's like, God, I wish I could remember, but it's like the number 7 constantly repeats in the actual composition of the story. It's crazy. But like
the math of the words.
Yes, the actual math of the words.
Yeah.
It's not that they like say the number 7, but it's like if you know your stuff and you look at the numbers, the numerology of the words, it's like coded into it, right?
Wow.
But you know, the idea is that it was mystics who wrote these stories. That maybe it was while they were in captivity in Babylon.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not so sure, but we have this ancient Kabbalistic tradition, Kabbalah, right? So there was this secret initiatory Judaic tradition that, you know, some people argue that maybe they were responsible for writing some of these Old Testament scrolls, which would explain why they would have all this secret numerology behind them and everything. But yeah, so the Tower of Babel, the creation story, and
Jacob's
Ladder are allegedly esoteric stories, right? But specifically for today, I wanted to focus on the creation story and the theosophic perspective. So theosophy, we've done episodes on theosophy. We've done at least one, the Ageless Wisdom, and it was basically started by Helena Blavatsky, right? In I think it was the 1800s, right?
Like late 1800s.
Wasn't that long ago?
1900s, no.
And Helena Blavatsky is really cool. At least her work is cool.
Yeah.
And the way that she like explains esoteric terminology is very, I don't know how to say it. Maybe you could help me with this, but it's very like comparative. Like the way that it seeks to dispel the symbolism between the different mythologies, like or rather compare the symbolism between the mythologies and dispel the secrecy behind them, you know. But yeah, so I have a lot of really interesting takes about the creation story. So we're going to start with the principle of the monad. The monad, according to the theosophic perspective, is a fundamental, pure spiritual essence or entity that exists within the life of the logos or the divine source.
Within the life of the logos?
Yes.
Wow.
It represents the highest, most universal aspect of consciousness, embodying a state of pure spirituality and unity. The monad is seen as a divine spark or individual expression of the divine consciousness that undergoes a process of incarnation into matter, experiencing limitations and the duality of physical existence. This journey into matter involves a transformation where the monad must navigate the challenges and separations inherent in physical embodiment. So, like, it's been suggested that the story of Lucifer is an allegory, right? Like the whole story of he falls into material reality and he's, trapped there and locked away for 1,000 years or whatever. And then, he's unleashed. From the Kabbalistic perspective, when you look at the tree of life, it's suggested that it's duality, right? One side is light, one side is dark. It's suggested that one side is Lucifer and one side is Christ or enlightenment, right? Like that maybe it's the lightning bolt path, right? That we descend into the depths and then we ascend back to the godhood, right? So it's been suggested that we, as the way that we exist now, material humans, we existed as a part of this monad, as a part of the logos, the life force. Like we come from a higher...
We are a material expression of that higher consciousness.
Right. And the esoteric tradition teaches that these stories of like the devil, certain elements of the Old Testament and the Bible, because again, it's not that the Bible is not true, but rather that it is esoteric and it has a deeper wisdom about reality itself and the cosmos and everything. But the idea is that we existed perfectly in a spiritual state before we incarnated here. We fell into material matter, right? And now we are ascending back.
Yeah.
It's that lightning bolt path. So the expulsion from Eden, according to the theosophical view, the serpent's deception is the awakening of our duality, right? So the serpent is a symbol of the Kundalini energy or the latent spiritual power within. It tempts Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It represents the awakening of consciousness and duality within humanity, moving from a state of pure spirit to one of dual awareness. Adam and Eve's realization of their nakedness symbolizes the loss of primal unity and the emergence of self-consciousness. The curses placed upon Adam and Eve and the serpent are symbolic of the karmic consequences of spiritual descent. Eve's pain in childbirth signifies the burden of material existence and the cycle of birth and death, while Adam's toil represents the struggle of the soul within the dense physical realm. The ground cursed to produce thorns and thistles is emblematic of the hardships encountered in the material plane as a result of humanity's choice to experience duality. And we'll get into the choice later.
Wow.
The expulsion, guarded by the flaming sword, the cherubim, represents the soul's departure from the higher spiritual planes into the physical world. The sword of fire is a symbol of divine wisdom, which both protects the way to the tree of life and signifies the barrier between the higher states of consciousness and the physical world. The journey into the material realm is a necessary phase of the soul's evolution, leading to the eventual return to divine unity after experiencing and transcending duality. Again, it's like the lightning bolt path in Kabbalah. It strikes down and then it ascends back up.
Yeah.
Right? The monad ego in the 7 bodies, according to theosophy. The narrative of Eden symbolizes the monad or the ego's descent into the physical plane, taking on the 7 bodies of human existence, which, according to the esoteric view, are the physical body, the etheric body, the astral body, the lower mental body, the higher mental, or the causal body, which is like the version of you that exists in the causal or karmic plane, the intuitional or the buddhi, like Buddha, the buddhi, and the spiritual or the monad atma, which is like the pure form of your soul that exists in a higher reality.
Yeah.
Atman is like soul in Hinduism. Obviously, we said this in the wisdom traditions episode, not the wisdom traditions, I'm sorry, the ageless wisdom episode, but it's a nice little reminder that Helena Blavatsky likes to relate a lot of these terms to like Hinduism or Tibetan Buddhism, because in her belief, they held like the most pure version of spiritual wisdom.
Yeah.
Which is something that I read today from a a very interesting guy that I've never heard of. His name is, let me find it because I have it written down. His name is, I think it's Bill Donahue. Yeah, it's Bill Donahue. And he was like a Catholic priest. And now he has this website that is very, very interesting. And he just constantly dispels like esoteric wisdom, or not dispels, but like
expels.
like just expounds on the symbolism in the Bible and all this stuff and what it really means. And something that he said in one of his videos that I watched today was that the story in Revelations, which, you know, we'll get to later, but he said that the story in Revelations of all of the 7 rivers in the east are symbolic of the hidden mysteries of the East. So like the idea of what he was saying is that like, even though, you know, Western esotericism is true and, you know, God and deities and the soul, but that the wisdom of, here's what he said. He said that the path to initiation to awaken the soul is hidden in the mysteries of the East. So I was like, that's very interesting. I've had this thought for a while. It's like, I feel like you can't really have the truth unless you blend the wisdom of the East and the West. And when you put it in these terms, that's very fascinating. Because when you dive into these esoteric traditions of Western society, they have these like meditation practices and Kundalini and Tantra and like raising your energy like they practice in Hinduism or Tibetan Buddhism.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, that's an interesting thought. It's like the concepts of the West have great ideas about like angelic hierarchies. You know, you could say like ritual magic, allegory, symbolism, all this other amazing stuff. But then maybe it's like the practices of the East have actual practices, you know, like meditative practices.
Yeah. I think there are 2 necessary sides to the same coin.
And they mesh.
That's one of the things that I adore so much about theosophy is that it pulls from both Western and Eastern philosophy. Right. And it recognizes that it's all important to the whole picture.
That's right. And the amazing thing is that Hermeticism itself did that too. The whole point of these sages is they were traveling and they were learning all this knowledge and taking these scrolls. It was very syncretic, right? Yeah. And there's that whole alternate version of Jesus where maybe he traveled to India, Tibet, Persia, Greece, you know, Egypt, and like Pythagoras did this. Mm-hmm. He actually, like the historical Pythagoras did this. He was like a sage who traveled.
Straight up sage.
Yeah. And Plato did this, you know, and it's like there's something to this notion that there is some profound, you know, mysticism in the East. But anyway, so I wanted to preface that a lot of these terms are going to be in like Tibetan Buddhist or Hindu terms because it was Helena Blavatsky's way of understanding it. Anyway, so back to that. These bodies represent varying degrees of materiality, with the monad ego's divine consciousness becoming increasingly enmeshed in the densest physical matter, symbolized by the physical body. The descent is both a fall and yet also a necessary stage in the evolutionary journey. In theosophical terms, the Lord God is not a single anthropomorphic entity, or deity rather, but represents the collective forces of the Elohim, or spiritual intelligences, driving the evolutionary process. These forces, while divine in origin, manifest differently across various planes of existence. From a lower material perspective, they appear as limiting or even malevolent or satanic, symbolizing the dual aspect of divine will, both creative and destructive, as it pushes the monad ego toward physical incarnation and then eventual liberation. So think about that. And it talks about this later too, but the way that we understand Satan, right? Most people think it's an actual being. The stories of the devil in the Bible, that there's this one central evil personification that like is oppressing every living soul on earth. But then this view is like, well, the stories of the devil and, you know, the malevolent forces, when you really think about it and you zoom up to the highest level of reality where you're observing evolutionary processes, that it was necessary for our soul to suffer the experience of material reality and incarnate here, come lower and incarnate here for the experience of being here, and then evolve and grow and then ascend back out of here. Not that it's like we're trapped here. The Gnostic view is like we're trapped here. We're in hell. It's a nightmare. And it's like, maybe it is, but maybe it's also, in the bigger picture, it's just a part of our journey.
It's part of the journey. Like this, what did you call it? I know it's not the
monad.
Monad. I almost said nomad. It's like the monad is like this higher, ultimate high consciousness thing. Like this primordial consciousness wouldn't trap itself in a material realm to be tortured. It would willingly send itself to this material realm to learn what duality is, to
knowing that it will be tortured,
yes,
but knowing that it's necessary because it will grow.
Exactly.
So it's like on this level, it's perspective, right?
No learning in heaven. Remember we said that before?
Right.
Like it's
perspective. Like on the one hand, when you're, on the ground looking at things from a certain perspective, you're like, wow, this ocean's really big, and it's or these trees are really big, and they're as far as the eye can see. And then you're up in the sky and you look down and they're little dots. Mm-hmm. It's all about perspective, right? And it's the same with the soul. And that's a very interesting take. Like, maybe there even are negative and malevolent forces, which obviously I believe that there are. But then again, it's like when you go to the higher levels of reality, it's like, but maybe that's a necessary part of this phase.
It absolutely is. It's 100% necessary
to test us, to make us evolve even higher. And like, there's some grand cosmic plan for us to come here into this place where it sucks, but it's like, well, but it's going to be good after. It's going to be better after, and it can be good here too.
Yes, it's to learn to appreciate the cosmic truth, like to learn to appreciate the soul, and like
it's like building an immune system, man. Like. You can be exposed to pathogens that kill you, but then from a scientific perspective, you could be like, but what if in an intelligent way I expose myself to these pathogens, or, I'm not, whatever, so that I could build an immune system and be stronger, and be more resilient. And it's just like, it's the same with the soul. It's the same with higher realities. So the traditional Christian doctrine of original sin, which is obviously when they eat from the tree.
Yeah.
Roots in the fall of Adam and Eve is seen in theosophy as a misunderstanding. Rather than a moral transgression, the fall symbolizes the natural descent of the human monads or souls into physical bodies as a necessary step in the human evolution. In this view, the use of procreative power by early humanity was not sinful, but it is a natural process essential for the survival and development of the species. The notion that sexuality is inherently impure is rejected. Rather, it is a neutral, impersonal force that can either be elevated or degraded, depending on its use. Theosophy, and pretty much all esoteric doctrines that aren't, like on the dark side, like the good shit.
Yeah.
Theosophy emphasizes that while misuse of sexual energy can lead to negative outcomes, its proper transmutation can result in spiritual and intellectual creativity, inspiring genius and even granting esoteric sages superhuman abilities.
Just like everything in nature can be elevated or degraded depending on use, and can lead to awakening. And
Absolutely. When procreative nature is channeled and transmuted, it can lead to profound spiritual and intellectual achievements. This process is not about rejecting physicality, but rather about elevating and integrating it into a higher spiritual context, aligning with the ultimate goal of human evolution, self-realization, and union with the divine. And it talks later about how a part of our experience here is like incarnating with, like, part of the fall into material reality was like the higher monad, this ultra transcendent consciousness being like, okay, I'm a perfect being, but I must subject myself to go down there to where I am subject to emotional, physical, and intellectual impulses, which on the physical level is like, obviously, the 7 deadly sins, the vices, whatever. It's like, I'm going to be subjected to these impulses, but then it's going to manifest on the human level as a desire for love. So it's like, it's a part of it's like,
that's beautiful.
Anyway, we'll get to it later. But so the temptation by the devil. right? So in esoteric philosophy, the devil in Eden is not a singular being, but a personification of various formative forces, processes, and intelligences. Satan represents differentiated matter, its inherent life force, and the influence these have on human consciousness. The devil embodies the negative pole of the cosmic energy spectrum, where matter plays a crucial role in the awakening of creative fire within the spirit. Spirit and matter are viewed as the positive and negative poles of one energy, and their interaction generates electromagnetic attraction, symbolizing the creative process. In this allegory, Eve represents the universal substance responding to the life force, in parentheses, the devil, and tempts Adam, symbolizing spirit, to engage in material expression. The role of the devil in the human evolution, or the temptation by the devil, rather, is not a malevolent act, but it is an essential aspect of the evolutionary process. It reflects the lure of material existence and the necessary descent of spirit into matter to achieve full self-expression and ultimately spiritual growth. So at one point, the monad up in this high, existing state of reality, which isn't even like, you got to think about it like there's one original consciousness, which is true from the theosophic perspective, the Hermetic, the Rosicrucian, the Mason, all these different traditions, secret societies. They're all like, there's one consciousness. The Gnostics, whatever, the, Brahman, the supreme god of Hinduism. It's this one mind, right? Theosophy and some other traditions say, well, at some point that mind was like, but I want to experience, right?
Yeah.
So it seeks individualization.
Yeah.
Individualization. That's a hard word. So it comes down here and it seeks to be individuals.
Yeah.
Not just this one thing, but many different individuals.
In order to see different perspectives.
Yeah, because it's like, what would that be like?
Yeah.
It's going to suck.
Sure.
It's going to really suck.
But it's to get the full picture. It's to like actually be able to have an experience rather than just like existing.
Right.
It's an experience versus just, being out there.
Exactly.
Nothing going on.
So that's what this is suggesting.
Like if I was a ball of primordial energy and I'm just floating out there in the cosmos, I'd be like, this is fucking boring. Like I want to do something.
I want to play Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Literally, bro. I want to go see Sonic 3 in the theaters with my homies.
Yeah.
Like
I want to role play as Eggman.
Well, okay. All right. I'll role play with you.
Okay.
I'll be older Grandpa Eggman.
On Green Boys.
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah. I'll be older Grandpa Eggman.
Yeah, man.
But like, yeah, it makes sense. It makes so much sense to me. Like the want, the desire for those different experiences, and that, like, if I was that infinite ball of energy, I would want to experience everything possible by throwing myself into billions of different entities.
Right.
And having continuous different experiences.
It's almost like a paradox to think about from a human perspective, right? Like, because then I think about this perfect being and I'm like, why would you do this? Why would you do this?
Sure.
But then it's like, but I also kind of get it because it's like, why not?
Right. It's like if you didn't do this, then just what? Nothing ever happens ever, and there's no purpose or point to anything?
It's just kind of, there.
Yes. Literally, it's gray. It's nothing.
It's more interesting this way.
Infinitely more interesting.
Yeah.
There's, the gray, the in between everything. No hot, no cold, no good, no bad, no nothing. No hungry, no full.
It's above my pay grade.
Think about when you're freaking hungry for 24 hours. You do a 24-hour fast. Or let's just say you go a day and you don't get to eat for a long time.
Yeah.
When you freaking eat, it's like the best thing that's ever happened to you.
This is kind of nice.
Yes. It's like the best thing that's ever happened to you.
Yeah.
It's like the good stuff is infinitely better when you had to go through something difficult to get to it.
Right.
It's infinitely more rewarding.
Yeah, that's how I like to think it makes sense. Like God being like, okay, I'm perfect, I'm omniscient, whatever, but like, what if I actually went down there and like tested myself?
Yeah. Saw what it was like.
Yeah.
Just
Why
to
not?
see. Yeah.
Come back stronger.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's over my pay grade to understand it, but...
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more, check out our other videos.
And before you go, don't forget to subscribe. See you next week.
Peace.